We've reached to the end of the Last of Us series, and I know, they say it's the beginning of the new season that is based on the original second game of the franchise, The Last of Us. But based on what I've seen, it's the last episode of the whole series. Because in this episode, Joey dies. And, sorry, spoilers. Whoopsies. But if you haven't watched it until now, you're probably never going to watch it. So, or maybe one day far from here, and then you probably forgot already all those things I'm talking about. Thing is, point being, Joey died, and away from the game, if we just take it as a TV series value, Pascal was carrying the whole series in the back because it was so full of politically correct innuendos, if you can call it innuendos. It's like in your face kind of innuendos, mainly directives, party ruled directives that you have to follow or else. And he was carrying it. It was him, and now they killed him. So why are people going to watch it? Are they going to watch it for the beautiful face of the girl, because she doesn't look like a woman? Like, if we had to follow the original scripts, she would be 19 about for now, early 20s, but she still looks like she's 12 years old. So it's really hard to sell that actress. And look, no offense, she would have been perfect in some other series, maybe a series about what? Goblins, but like a fantasy. Maybe they should do some recap of Labyrinth, where she's one of the elf nobles there, and or trolls or goblin nobles in David Bowie's, may he rest in peace, kingdom. But uh, as a character in the Last of Us, the complaint that everybody, all players of the game, the real players, not the ideologically driven, I'll pretend I'll play this game so I can demand changes in it, pretend to love this game so I can hate on it. No, the original series, they picked like Ellie, right? Is Ellie her name? If it isn't, I don't give a damn anymore. The part of my brain that remembers the whole game and the TV series already deleted most of the information pertaining. So because it's redundant, it has become redundant. It will be redundant. Nobody worthy of listening to, at least, will watch that series now that Pascal is dead. If you try to play for the modern audiences, they probably already left, because since the production is doing everything that they asked for, they no longer have a reason to watch it, because that's their mindset. That's how they have been ruining games and TV series and whole franchises. They watch for a couple of episodes, they complain about it, they pressure those companies, because God knows for what reason, since it's a very little teeny tiny minority of people. They listen to them and they just destroy the whole thing. And as soon as those people are pleased, they vanish. and now you have a ruined franchise that will take decades, if ever, to ever recover from the damage. And many people have commented on that. I'm not. Who am I to try to beat them? I won't repeat what they already said. This horse is more than deadly beaten, so I won't dwell in that. But it's pretty obvious they had to change. I don't understand how those executives get paid in the hundreds of thousands uh, to demand that you put ugly people or unfitting people in the role of either beautiful people or people who at least look like a role. If you want to please the audiences, correct? If you really want to sell your product to other people, why do they keep doing that? Why is that a modus operandi that they have to put unbefitting people to a specific role to make sure that the fan base is completely angry with that? What sells the series? What sells the series when you manage to sell the characters, right? When they become the personification of that imagery you want, and then you go there, like those executives, those gray suits, they come along, they push the people to the side that would be perfect in the role. They demand someone really ugly or bad acting or lousy or flat out ugly and has to be completely different from the original character, at least. To make sure that the fan base is not going to watch it anymore because they're pissed. So you can call them racist, I guess, or you can call them homophobic, whatever lie they like to insult people with. I don't know. Are those people psychopathic? Do they like brain cells to? Are they really to sell a product rather than, just to screw with people? Do they draw personal pleasure of it? Did university break their minds because they have done it with The Walking Dead? And look, fair enough, that actor they put to play Negan, he did what he could, but it was very disappointing some of the last episodes we saw him when he didn't have this leather jacket on, that his real arm showed, his real body showed, and he was weak as heck. When everybody, whoever read the original comics to which The Walking Dead is based upon, has seen that Negan, as a typical school gym instructor, a coach, that was his profession before he became apocalyptic king, or emperor rather. Um, he was buff. Plus, his character, his whole gimmick was based, according to the guy who created the comics, was based in Henry Rollins. And I still haven't got over it. Again, fair credit to the new actor they put in the role. He's a good actor in the wrong role, and he did what he could, and it was pretty fine. But when you know that the real Henry Rollins was to be cast as Negan, much to the joy of not just the entire fanhood, but the creator of the comics, the guy who created, the guy who envisioned those comics that became a huge hit, The Walking Dead, was thrilled. It was his dream come true. It was even better than a dream that Henry Rollins was going to play Negan. Now imagine that. Just imagine that. That was the role tailored for Henry Rollins. Don't you think he would have been the ultimate Negan? Just imagine, especially if you take into consideration that the character of Negan was based in Henry Rollins. Nope. No, sir. They had to ruin it. They had to ruin it. The gray suits had to ruin it. They had to make sure that the fan base that was already aggravated by the nonsensical crying all over the place that the new The Walking Dead had become, had to swallow even that bullet, literal bullet. They had to cast someone completely different physically, emotionally, psychologically to Negan. And again, credit where it's due. That actor at least tried hard to play the character, and he pulled off the sarcasm, the irony of Negan that would have been flawless with Henry Rollins himself playing the punk period of Henry Rollins himself. No, they had to ruin it. Could not be the perfect character. They had to put someone who was physically completely different. And in the last episodes that we see Negan without the leather jacket, it becomes so evidently clear that he was unfit for the role. And look, great actor, but Henry Rollins playing Negan, that would have been just awesome. Even if the rest of the series was garbage, which it became a compost of the original comics, it would have been great. Henry Rollins playing Negan, flawless. No, they had to ruin it. They had to make sure not to give the fans what the fans wanted, not to give the creator of the whole franchise the satisfaction of seeing his ultimate dreams come true. No, 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 no. Let's ruin it for everybody because we decide to screw everything up. So as you can see, I'm still not happy with what they did to The Walking Dead because they ruined Negan, even if the actor pulls had his moments, but serious. But they ruined the day, right? Like you as a guy who read the comics, you as a guy who knows the background story, you as a guy who knows Henry Rollins because I lived the fucking 80s, I know, right? Who's seen the whole thing. To see him in that role would have been like a life achievement for everyone involved, including the fan base. No, 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 no. Let's make sure that we screw it up so the fans don't get what they want, the creator of the series don't get what they want, but we decide, because we decide. Well, shouldn't we just get rid of the gray suits? What do they do, really? They just screw up series nowadays because I don't know which reality they live in, but it's not this reality. So no. So this is foreshadowing to what is coming. So we had this really interesting character that was so charismatic that she managed to even make the tough nail character of The Last of Us feel paternal towards her, a guy that was completely selfish in the series. He became selfish because of the passing away of his daughter in the beginning of the whole thing, of the infestation. So he, little by little, she wins his heart because she was a charismatic, loving character. No, they in the TV series they had to. Here along comes the gray suits to make sure that loving, charismatic character that won everybody's hearts, including a selfish Dick, like the main character of the original game, had to make sure that it was the most antipathetic character. And look, uh, the girl did what she could with what she had. Okay, like I'm actually defending that actress, but she is not cast to that role. And to make it worse, they try to do the thing that they have been doing, this girl boss, which doesn't really sell it because she was what 12. You're not. What are they thinking? Nobody, no boy, no girl, regardless of gender, is a girl boss or a boy boss at the age of 12. Okay, you can't sell that. Nobody buys that. There is no immersion. What makes a series interesting is the immersion. Is that you manage to empathize somehow or character uh, you see a piece of view or someone you know at least in one of the main characters. Nobody at that age behaves like her. And if they do, they get their ass wiped by the other kids because it's unrealistic. So she was the most antipathetic. Look, it's not her fault. She's an actress. She's performing the role that she's given, and she's well paid for doing that. So, if somebody threw me money and say, "Hey, you want to perform Arnold Schwarzenegger in the story, the history of his life," and threw me a whole bunch of money, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, in my lap, and say, "Hey, we chosen you to be Arnold Schwarzenegger," and I look at myself in the mirror, and then I look at the money, and say, "Okay, okay, I will be the Arnold Schwarzenegger. I will be back, whatever, right? For that money, of course, who can blame the girl? She was offered that. She took it. I would take it too. Even if it was to play Ellie, I would take it. I would curly my little hairs and play the role for that amount of money. Are you kidding? Since no, and especially apparently the only sex she has is with other women. Of course, I would in a heartbeat. Oh, really? I have to play a lesbian? Wonderful, I'm in. Count me in. Oh, that money? Oh, that's fine, fine. Oh, I would be sold, but no. They picked someone that could have been from the Goonies. She should be cast in the new Goonies series. It's coming. It's coming. I smell it coming. It's going to be a disaster, but she should be. What is her name? Bella Ramsey. Bella. What a. Anyway, sarcasm rules. It's clown world. It's clown world. So look, I get it. Okay, the girl did what she could. I'm defending her. I'm literally defending that young actress. Okay, but she was not supposed to be to play that role. She doesn't have the right energy. She doesn't have the charisma for that. She doesn't win our hearts. At the end of every episode, by her attitude, you feel like hitting her. So if she was a man, of course, never hit a woman. But if she was a man, and it's very close to being a man, as the way that they are trying hard to portray her, oh, it's just so unbearable. It's an insult. It's a mind rape. It is said that they can rape your mind. Well, there's the evidence. They are trying hard, at least. But it's so absurd that then you say, no, I can't believe that. So you watch the series out of curiosity, if anything is going to change, than anything else. But now they killed the person who was carrying the whole series. And look, Pedro Pascal, he's supposed to do a specific kind of role, of the sensitive but rough guy, yes, right? And in this series, I'm going to defend that series. You could pull off, okay, they made it a bit different. Instead of being like Joey or Joel, or however his name is, who gives a shit by now, since the people who wrote the original series, one of them at least, there were three involved. One of them, when they picked that bastard, the guy's a bastard because he's ruined the whole thing, so I'll call him bastard from now on. Not Pedro Pascal, the writer who they pulled to do that in TV. And I get it. It became an interesting twist that he could be like shell shocked, like he could suffer from PTSD, or however they call it nowadays, however they call shell shock nowadays. Same thing, different names. Um, Itself, okay, he did so much shit that he could have, although the original in-game Joel would have never, ever flinched. And good luck, like they show in the TV series, funny, yeah. A guy like that, right? A guy like that survived the whole thing and became proficient and with a huge reputation that everybody feared him. Yeah, a little teeny tiny lady who is beating him approaches him very close. Yeah, you do that, girl. You try that. Just try that with that kind of man, especially when they are hurt. If you ever manage to hurt a man like that, you do that. You come very close to his face, with him having his arms completely free and available, and he's hurt in the leg and in full pain. The right thing to do in this situation, to show that you are in control, is to come close enough to that guy that he can snap your neck. Yes, you do that. You go, girl. This is why those movements are going to be bound to fail. Because it's not a matter of how many people you have around a guy like that. It's the matter of if he can reach you. So anyway, but details, right? I'm not going to spoil it, because if the way things are going, those lunatics, those ideologically driven lunatics, are going to try what those series are pumping into their skulls. And how can you say it's ideologically driven? Well, because they literally said it in season one. They clearly made a statement that something that is completely anarchistic in essence, they called it, oh, it's a communist, it's a commune, so it's communist. So the level of imbecility. And look, again, the people who are radicals, they will watch it every now and then to see, only to see if everything is going according to their check boxes. If it is, they stop watching. They only, if they're called, if somebody presses the red button, pun intended, they come back to check to see if the check boxes are not there. If they're not, they're going to scream and cry. Okay, the check boxes are there, they disappear. They are not going to watch. And again, they are minority. They are minority. So bear that in mind. So there's that. Okay, they are not watching. The people who like the series, or who are following the characters, who might even have been sold, I was kind of sold. I thought it was interesting, but I couldn't get past the face, or rather the minimized face inside a face, that was the girl, and completely antipathetic, completely arrogant, and completely different from the original Ellie. Okay, so it's a, let's say it's a different series based on the same story. That's how I was watching it. Of course, they had to make one of the mostly mainly or manly characters, that was that actor. I forgot his name. The guy with the big sad eyes, that played one of the guys in the homosexual couple. Um, that's used to play Ron Swanson. That was a male and libertarian guy and all that. And they started well. They put him in the libertarian kind of a safe space there in the basement where they belong. Apparently, because they don't want to get out of there. So, mm, and they made him gay, but it's okay. I know personally gay couples, and they are kind of like that, and it's really nice people. They made that episode. I think I spoke about it in the past. I thought it was great because they literally portrayed how a homosexual couple really behaves, right? And it's something like that. Knowing them personally, I know, yeah, it's something, yeah, it's really like that. Cool. They're good people, they're nice people, they even look manly, but they have their privacy. We should keep it that way. Everybody's privacy, right? So I thought it was great. I thought it was a great episode and all, and I was watching it, although the girl made it insufferable when I got this thing of it's a community, so we are communists, which is bullshit. They are right wing communes nowadays. There's all kinds of communes. There are communes, anarchist communes, so and the lifestyle they were living was pretty much anarchistic because good luck trying a proper communist commune. It's not like that, I can tell you that. The communists who believe that the anarchist communes are communists, they fool themselves. So, anyway, details that ruin everything. So the people who like the series are not going to watch because they were usually the people who play the game are not going to watch or dropped it already or were just following to see how far they will manage to make Joel as weak as they possibly could, turn a guy who was tough as a nail into an absolute broken man. The therapy thing was just, what are they doing? And what kind of therapist drinks while they're giving therapy? That's absurd. So, and plus, what kind of reality someone who allegedly he killed the husband of would help give therapy to the guy? But anyway, details, right? Even that, you kind of, they're lunatics for everything. I get it, I get it, I get it. Uh, but everybody at the end of the day was just watching it because of Pascal, right? And I thought it was an interesting twist because, what if Joel was a broken man, right? What if all the killing and slaughtering and survival and all the deaths and everything he was responsible for finally got to him and broke him and he just wanted to die, right? Because that's what they were portraying there. They were portraying in this last episode of the series. For me, it's the last episode of the series. Who am I going to watch that I can empathize with, that I can say, hey, that character could have been me, or I would do that in that? Which one of them? The Oriental guy is a cock, flat out. Okay, he is the how they idealize what they believe a man is, right? Completely submissive to the woman, which is not true. So the guy's a cock. Everybody's doing his girlfriend apparently. Um, am I going to empathize with that guy? No. Am I going to empathize with that other guy? No. Am I going to empathize with the goblin that they put to perform one of the cutest characters in all games? No. So why anyone sane or anyone who used to love the series or love the game that the series is based upon, why would they watch it? They wouldn't. They won't. I won't. And I know the only people that play the game that would watch it are people who already have millions of or hundreds of thousands of subscribers and are only doing that review just to trash the whole thing. So, and then we say, no, no, it's for modern audiences, which is nonsense. It's a term to we don't know what we are doing. We just do exactly what we want, and you have to take it. So the normies, the normies, that would be the majority of people that you could still try to sell the series, the people who didn't play the games, so they don't get pissed off on how inconsistent it is in comparison. The normies When they saw this end game there, or how they killed Joel, they were disgusted. They were repulsed. They were thinking, what the hell are those people thinking? They didn't like it. They hated it. I know because I saw it. Oh, please shut it down. I don't want to see that. That's just evil. That's the position of the normies. This is the position of the normies. The normies, when they saw that part, when they saw that bit, they were kind of sold with the whole, oh, they are getting into the compound, which was defended as communists would probably do. Now I believe it was indeed a communist utopia or dystopia or whatever. By the way that they tried to defend the whole thing, it was so badly planned that I don't want to get into detail. Mind you, I have some military experience. One of the tasks I was given along the way was to secure the perimeter of a hospital unit. So, believe me, I know how to secure a perimeter. And this is not how you do it, okay? And I'm talking about securing perimeter in a war zone. This is not how you do it in a zombie apocalypse, for instance, which is 1 degree less than a war zone because your enemy is not armed with bazookas and hand grenades and missiles and rockets and heavy artillery and machine guns and rifles, okay? No, it's a horde that is destroying everything in its path. It's technically it's one of the easiest tasks you can possibly have if you are securing a perimeter. You wish it was only that. Oh, but they had those big monsters. You wish it was only that. You understand? Because the laws of physics still apply. If the monster is big or more or strong or whatever, laws of physics still apply. He still have a certain weight, a certain size, and a certain speed. And he can't really go beyond that. So you can calculate, you can estimate, you can plan ahead, and you can defend. So yeah, you build a hole long enough with spikes that can at least keep him in place, or a trap that falls over itself so he cannot get out of there, because once again, the laws of physics. It can be blazing. Make a blazing trap. It's over for whatever one of those creatures, and then you don't need to be running. You just wait until they burn out like a chunk of wood. So, but again, I digress. But the normies, they love that part because it makes for them it's immersive because they don't really care. They didn't play the game, they don't know, and they don't care. And it was actually interesting, but again, so many flaws when you know how to defend a dwelling. But so I thought the way that they did it was actually to give credit where it's due, although I think, like in the second game, they did it the way that they did, that the people didn't reveal who they were because they wanted to make, like, they wanted to create a suspense, a secrecy, a mystery around the people who killed Joey, because they could have been pretty much anyone that Joey had killed, right? Like anyone related to any group of people that Joey had killed. Because again, in the games, he was a tough nail and he didn't give a shit. He was very selfish, right? And one of the interesting things that the game sold well is that someone as cute and innocent and candid as Ellie would have win finally Joel's black stone heart, black stone cold heart, right? She managed to warm it in the end of the first game, only to be completely destroyed. The narrative, everything that was built in the first game, to be completely ruined in the second game, but whatever. But it made a bit of sense that eventually, somebody would come knocking, right? Of all the people he killed and all that. But again, he fought, man. He fought. In the original game, he died like he lived. He died fighting, right? So this time, those people were just prepared. And although as absurd as it is to have a muscle-bound thing that they couldn't even reproduce in real life because it would have been physically impossible, and good luck, right? Like they could at least have hired a bodybuilder, a female bodybuilder that was tall, one of the tall ones, and I would have been sold. I would have been sold. I might even, I might even consider watching it, continue to watch it because, again, the charisma related, right? Suddenly, imagine, just imagine, if they had cast a big, tall, strong, probably popular bodybuilder, female bodybuilder, that would have kicked Joel's ass there. Yeah, I would buy that. I would buy that when Joe had his broken leg. Okay, fair enough. That woman can probably beat a man to death. Okay? Uh, Look, they could have even hired, but I know they won't because of her political views. They would never. They could have even hired Gina Carano, and I would have bought that. I would say, okay, I will watch that series. What do I mean by bought that? It means I would watch that series because Gina Carano is a hell of an actress and she's tough and buff and all that. That's interesting. That fits that role of the leadership of the strong, charismatic, truly independent woman who has her shit together. I will watch the series. I want to watch that to see what goes on with that character. Do you understand? If they had put a strong woman to do the strong woman, I would have continued to watch. It would have saved the series. Okay, she beats Joel. The king is dead. All hail the king. You understand? I would continue to watch because I wanted to see, oh, new, interesting. I want to see where this is going because that makes perfect sense to me. And look, to be fair, I like the way that they sold it because they gave, unlike in the game, they gave the reason to why she wanted revenge. Now imagine a strong female bodybuilder. I can even be convinced that you can still take anabolics at the end of the world because nobody's taking them. Um, so somebody who used to do bodybuilding, again, a Negan played by Henry Rollins, right, would have sold me, not a Negan played by a skinny dip of a guy that is. So no, they don't want strong people. I don't know what is their problem, because what, the gray suits don't identify themselves because they're probably short, weak, and ugly. So they want all the heroes to be short, weak, and ugly, or just flat out weak and ugly. Hard to sell, hard to sell, because people can they don't want to relate with that. They want ideals and good ideals, not communist. We've seen how that works in the real world. It doesn't. So we had the 20th century, 100 years of evidence that it doesn't work. So should we move on from that, please? So no, they had to put someone who is completely inconsistent with the role once again. That doesn't sell me. What does it mean, sell to me? It means I don't buy it. That means I won't watch the rest of the series. I won't pay HBO or Disney or whatever to watch that. You understand? I'd rather not. I will spend my money in myself than to spend to watch to get angry at something that doesn't make sense whatsoever. So yeah, it died. It died right there. It died with Joel, right? Regardless, they were playing a weak Joel, which was kind of interesting for me. I got it. I got. Many people actually didn't. No, 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 no. I got it. I got it. He was suffering from all the death and destruction he did, what is unrelated to the original character. That is a guy that was built for that, right? No, he was a broken man, and she managed to be there beating him to death and him doing absolutely nothing. Like I'm sure that the writer would in that kind of situation. He would probably, poop in his pants or piss his pants. Um, no, he just was there, immobile. He just took it and kept on taking it. I don't know for God what reason, because any man with speck of testosterone, once they start getting hurt, they're going to hurt back. So no, he was just taking it. Especially a character that was built on the fact that he doesn't give a shit about anybody else. That it's him first and nobody else next. But hey, right, like again, it's hard to sell, but okay. Point is, they did that because the writer, who is the one of the three writers that wanted to screw the series, he made sure, because if they had put Joel, that he survived the thing, or he talk his way out of the situation, that would have meant that he would have caved to the fan base, which God forbid they do. They do the bidding of what the fan base wants. God forbid that. No. So if he let Joe live, because killing Joe in the original second game was the reason nobody wanted to play this game and they hated it. No. So he couldn't cave in to the will of the majority. So much to the will of the majority, right? For the greater good. So much for the greater good, right? At the end of the day, it becomes what they want and screw everybody else. Like Joel's original character. Oddly enough, irony missed. So no, would be too good to be true, because some nerd would have made fun of him that he finally did with what the fans wanted, and God forbid that happened. It would have. I would continue to watch it. Everybody would, just to see where this would go, but no, right? No. Mm-mm. And to be fair, I like the way that they developed the whole thing, although so convenient that he was right there, that the first people that she met was them, that she, oh, but anyway, it's still bearable, because the normies would definitely have swallowed it. But again, what the normies didn't swallow, and I know that the series was over for the normies once they did that, they don't want to watch that. They don't want it. They want to be entertained. They don't want an act of sadomasochism. Okay, what happened there was just too gruesome to the nice going, sheepish daily faring of the normies. So the normies are not going to watch the series. They don't want that. Look, I'm sure she's a nice person in real life. They don't want that ugly, repulsive, not physically. Okay, some people are turned on by that. I'm actually technically curious in how it would be to have sex with someone who looked like that, to be honest. Just out of curiosity, just to see why, right? They cast a person like that, because I really don't know. And I'm sure she's a nice person in real life. Don't take it personally. It's nothing personal. I would trash anybody who is miscast, as I did, right? As I did talking about The Walking Dead, so there's evidence. No, they are not going to watch that person that looks like she has something related to some prenatal alcoholic syndrome. Okay, and I'm sure she's a nice person, but when she smiles, it looks weird, and oh, it's cringe. It's cringe. Normies don't like cringe, okay? They don't like cringe. And the death of Joel was cringe. It was cringe. And her face is cringe. And the girl that they put to beat Joe to death is cringe, because it's hard to believe that a woman like that could do that without suffering any sort of consequences. She would have hurt herself more than she hurt Joe. Just by trying to hit him with stuff, it would bounce back. The vibration of the thing every time she would hit him. I know by experience. Anyway, I've been in many fights, too many. Weak people trying to beat you with stuff, they get more than you do. So, memories, la 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 la. But anyway, it's over. It's over. You can forget the series. Okay, nobody's going to watch that. The box checkers are not going to watch it because it fits completely what they describe as consistent. The fan base is not going to watch it because they were still hoping that the writer that destroyed the whole franchise would at least give them that. No, he didn't, because they always double down. They're ideologically driven. They always double down. So forget that. So there's no hope. And the normies are not going to watch it because I saw firsthand they they wanted to change channel. They wanted to see something else. when when the little teeny tiny things start beating in this big man out of sheer cowardice, right? Normies don't like cowardice, regardless of what you think of normies. They don't like it. They don't approve it. Okay, they are not cowards. They face things every day that the ideologically driven don't. So they're ideologically driven, especially the elites, the rich kids like that stupid writer. Um, they don't understand that the normies don't like weakness and they don't like cowardice. Okay, they don't understand that because they're cowards and weak, like the rich elite kids that get to daddy pays for their place to write a TV series, right? Uh, they are in completely different planets. But the normies, I know, I saw it. They wanted to change because they don't like it, and it's repulsive. I don't like it either. At least I understand that based on the game and all that, but still I don't like it. It is bad taste. It is bad taste. It's like vulgar. It's like too much. It's unnecessary violence, and they were turned off completely. I saw it firsthand. They were turned off. They are not going to watch the series. Not after that scene. Not after that scene. No, the good guy getting killed like that. No, they're done. They're done. They cannot relate. They cannot relate. What? I try to be good in my life. Is that how it would be in a situation like that? No, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I would rather lie to myself than accept that as a slight possibility whatsoever. Because if I accept that, I will enter depression and I would stop working and going to school or whatever, doing what I'm told by this corrupt government that rules over me. I'll have to see all those rotten things and I will just, you know, run to the woods. So the normies didn't watch that. They don't want to watch that. They are done. They're done. It was the last episode of the whole series for everybody, basically everybody. Let that sink in, because for me it's the last time I'm going to watch it. There's nothing in that series, nothing else that appeals to me. Nothing. No actor, no actress, no character, No storyline, no commune, no nothing appeals there. So why should I watch ugly people kissing each other? Who wants to see that? Some ugly loser types having at it with each other, doing things that are completely inconsistent with reality. Who wants to see that? Who empathizes with that? Who wants to see ugly people? And the majority of people are still straight and will be for a long time. Uh, you know, people with a completely different sexual interest go at each other. Who wants to see that? It's like trying to force people who are into hand jobs to to watch feet the whole day. They're into hand jobs. They don't want to see feet. That's not what turns them on. So don't put, especially ugly, stinky feet, like a very specific, minority oriented kind of fetish for only the most demented people. Who want to see that? Nobody. The large majority don't want. Oh, skip. Oh, no, dirty feet. Oh, they stink. I don't want to see that. They skip, right? The majority of people with different fetishes don't want to see that. They will skip. So it's only the people who like ugly, broken, dirty feet fetish that are going to watch it. Like, what? 1,000 people around the world. 20 people around the world are going to watch it. That's who is going to watch that weird, cringe actress that is completely wrong cast to the role, kiss other people the whole day long, kiss a Japanese cook, kiss, I don't know if he's Japanese, Oriental, Asian, whatever you want to call him, uh, kiss the other girls there. Who wants to see that? They will really need to get into deep porn to start getting. Well, people might want to watch her naked as just as a curiosity. They might turn in if she ever gets naked in that series, and that's the only way that they're going to have a little of comeback, because just to kill the curiosity, she's above legal age of consent now, right? So they can do that, like they did with that ugly girl from Game of Thrones. I forgot her name. She was ugly. She was not that ugly, but she was plain. She didn't have butt. She didn't have boobs, but they at least put her naked at the end when the series was crap. They mark my words. They're going to get desperate, and they're going to try to pull that out, just to try to pull some audience. They're going to do it for 5 minutes. Like, people are just going there to see, like they used to see those freak shows. They're going to see that girl just out of the freak show curiosity of seeing her naked. And they're going to put it in positions that you can't really properly see it. So everybody once again is going to be disappointed. It's sadomasochism at this point. Like they are hitting themselves and they don't understand, or they don't want to, or they don't care. So why should I care if the people who are directing, who are paying for that TV series don't care? Why should I care, right? If they want to screw it, why should I promote it? No, it was the last episode. Pascal, good actor, miscast for that role, played it, made a new, let's put it that way, gave a new perspective to the character. I like that. I could handle that. I could watch that. Okay, I get it. He was suffering inside. He was broke. He wanted to give up. Now he had an excuse to pay for his crimes. So he did. And the normies stopped watching. They were disgusted. They were disgusted, rightfully so, because they're mentally sane. Uh, I stopped watching because now there was no main character. There was no one, no actor or actress that can carry that series. It's just a bunch of ugly people playing communists in an absolute lie. And nobody or very few people are communists nowadays. What a disaster! It was the biggest disaster of the 20th century. Nobody sane wants that back. Only people who are suffering threats under a communist dictatorship wants to see uh, communist propaganda. Nobody sane wants to see that. But anyway, so yeah, nobody's going to watch. Sorry, but not sorry, because you're trying to screw us, so we don't want to see it. You're trying to mind rape us, so we refuse. I saw it by the expression of the normies watching that last episode of the series. I saw by their expression. They were being mind raped and they didn't like it. No means no. So they made it clear. They just, oh, please switch it. Why are they doing this? Oh, I don't want to see that. Change it. Let's see something else. That was the reaction, and I have to agree. They left the room. I kept watching. So, but I knew what was going to happen. It was just bullshit. But yeah, that was my impression. I'm not watching it again.